And we are live. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here with the guy from Ajax, and you may know him by many other names. Also, the person who's bringing us Splintercoach. So I would love for you to introduce yourself. First of all, welcome to the channel, and we're going to dive into some fun stuff today. But welcome.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, I guess I do go by many names, not intentionally, but yeah, Guy from Ajax is my in-game name on Splinterlands. I also have a YouTube channel called Geeked Out Basketball because
Mhm.
that's actually a Web3 game I'm kind of developing on my own time.
Very
And
cool.
then Jamie is my given name by my parents, so feel free to call me by either.
Well, I wasn't gonna do the last one on stream until you said it, or last one on the
Yeah.
channel until you said it. But if Jamie's cool, then we'll go with Jamie, I
Okay.
guess.
Yeah.
Unless you really want to go with Guy from Ajax, because that's a pretty cool name too.
Yeah. That would be. Let's go Jamie now, and then we can.
Okay.
Well,
Oh, I have to earn it. All right, that's fine. I have to earn
exactly.
it. Let's go.
Exactly.
Let's go with that, Jamie. All right. Well, so Jamie, obviously you're a content creator. You are a developer working on your own game, but we're talking today specifically about Splinter Coach. And I'm not saying that I don't want to talk about the other stuff. I think it'll actually be good to maybe talk about your journey with Splinterlands first, what you're trying to do maybe within the gaming space, and then we can jump into Splinter Coach because I've been having a lot of fun with it. I don't want to say anything else yet because I'll pull it up on screen here and share kind of like my first initial thoughts, and then you can walk me through all the stuff that you have in there and everything that you have planned for the future. But what is your Splinterlands origin story? How did you get
Yeah,
involved?
sure. I could probably even take a step back and just give you a little bit of context that led me
Sure.
to this. So I worked in corporate America as like a traditional marketer at a number of Fortune 500 companies for
Hmm.
about 20 years. And I got into crypto about 2018, I think the same way everyone else did, right? I started buying
Sure.
Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I would hope it would go up. And I didn't really understand much more.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really, as I started researching it, I'm a gamer, and I really started diving into Ethereum. And the gaming use case was like the light bulb that went off for me. Like,
Mm,
whoa, I can own assets outside of a closed ecosystem of a
yeah.
video game. And right there, I was sold, and I knew I wanted to make the rest of my career in Web3, ideally in gaming, etc. And so since then, I've been essentially consulting, helping sort of big brands figure out what they should be doing in the world of Web3. I've worked with like Bud Light and a few others. We actually built
Sure.
a
Sure.
we built
Yeah.
a Web3 game for Bud Light in the NFL last year, which was a lot of fun, and they love it. They've renewed it. They're doing it again this year. Um, but along the way, I met a developer and a really strong Web3 developer, and he and I have eventually started doing our own thing.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, we're still consulting, but Splinter Coach is one of our first things we've kind of built on our own and that kind of stuff. So
Oh, that's really exciting. So when did you discover Splinterlands as part of this journey then?
I'd say a little over a year ago. It was in early 2022.
Okay.
And so I started playing it. I saw aggroed on a few interviews, etc., and started playing the game and became instantly hooked. I love strategy games. I love card strategy games. Yeah.
So this is fascinating because now obviously the further out we get from it, we'll get from like the 2021 bull run, we're getting folks like yourself who you missed out on like the crazy 2021 hype. You actually probably came in at a better time sometime in 2022. But actually, I want to go back and focus on the fact that you said you may have discovered the game or found the game through Agrod's interviews or one of
Yeah.
Agrod's interviews. Was that with like what he doesn't like with the NASDAQ or with like mainstream media?
No, actually, it was within gaming. I think it might have actually been Crypto Stash's channel. I think I saw a
Ah,
couple of
okay, okay.
interviews with Aggroed. I was really interested in Web3 gaming. I just
Sure.
hadn't personally dove into any games myself. I was still playing
Okay.
like Clash of Clans and on my Xbox 360, etc.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I don't know, I never played like Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering because I knew if I did, it would consume me. And
Mhm.
as I learned more about Splinterlands, I'm like, you know what? I'm taking the dive. I'm jumping in, and I haven't looked back.
You know what it is about Splinterlands? Because I used to play Magic the Gathering. Never got into like the online version, but used to play hours and hours with friends, way back with physical cards. And it's like now, yeah, I tried Gods Unchained. I've
Mhm.
watched, a lot of Hearthstone through like Ali Strauss. I would go and like watch her streams and just to see what Hearthstone is. And I'm just like, okay, that's kind of like the same vibe overall. It's made me have an appreciation for Splinterlands with being like this quick dopamine hit. Like there's this very addictive nature because I remember first coming in, the first initial thoughts I had with Splinterlands was like, oh, it's an auto battler. Like I don't get to do anything. That kind of like sucks. And so even though I like now looking back on it, I'm just like I kind of appreciate. Maybe my life's just gotten a little bit more busy or whatever the case
Mhm.
is. But I love where it's just like, ooh, I can jump in for 2-3 minutes, see what the battle results are, feel like I get some kind of strategy dopamine hit out of it. And if you don't win, then you gotta gotta play another one until you do.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny, it just kinda shows how there are different types of gamers because for me, the
Hmm.
auto battler was a huge draw. For me,
Interesting. Okay.
the fun is thinking ahead of time, like, hey, if I pair Weirding Warrior with Curse Windeku, I'm going to be plussing up Windeku's thorns, and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And that's actually where I would love to. I know the dev team at Splinterlands is working on a lot, but I would just love to see more insight into how can I scout my opponents before games, try to
Hmm.
anticipate what they might be playing, et cetera. Because I think that would add even more sort of like to me, the auto battler, the game plays in between the matches, right? It's like
Yeah.
setting the lineups and everything. And I just love to see that plussed up a bit more.
Yeah, what's funny is I used to look at the opponent's like last 5 battles a lot more when I was first starting off, just to be like, "Oh, I wonder like what cards they have or what they might be using," or last summer we had Splinter Spam. I don't know if you were here for that with the ranked rewards changes. But, with nowadays for like I don't even check that. I just immediately try to think through what would be the best hand for this given like rule set or lineup. And a lot of times it's I don't pick right, but either way, it's interesting to see how my overall strategy has evolved and the way that like I approach the game has changed quite a bit actually.
Yeah, it's I look at the last 5 matches. I'll be honest, I don't put any credence at all into what splinters people have played in their last 5 because
Mhm.
I just don't think that's a predictive variable in terms of what they might play
Fair.
next.
Yeah.
The main thing I look at it is to get a sense for their level of cards. Because if I think
Gotcha.
if
Okay.
their card like essentially where I'm at, I have a pretty much other than like 2 or 3 cards, a couple of the recharge cards, I have a fully maxed out Chaos Legion deck.
Nice. All right.
And I have about 3 or 4 or 5 untamed cards that I really like the Unicorn Mustang, Mother Kala, et cetera, that I've either
Mhm.
maxed out or close to maxed out. And then I probably have Rift Watchers 75% of the way there.
Oh, okay,
So
cool. So you're gonna be
I
set for
can
modern.
yeah, yeah. So I can usually get a sense of, if I'm playing Diamond and they have level 6, summoners like Kelly or Obsidian,
Mhm.
I can usually deduce that I have the card advantage and I should just play my game, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if there's someone who is probably on par with me, if I'm seeing maxed out cards, but not a bunch of untamed, etc., then I'd think a little differently. And then if I'm seeing like a bunch of Jodens played and some untamed cards, then I'm like, okay, I might have to do something unconventional here because
Yeah.
if I just do what's expected, I'm probably going to get beat.
Yeah, yeah, true, true.
Yeah.
Thinking back on it now, were you in the game before the modern and wild split?
Yes.
Okay, so I think I actually used to view my opponent's cards or last 5 battles before modern format became a thing, because I just wanted to see, am I going up against, like, somebody who's, like, an older player that has, like, access to beta and a lot of untamed cards, or am I gonna be going up against somebody who's, like, newer player like myself that's mainly Chaos Legion? So, I guess ever since the modern wild split, I haven't used it as much, and granted, similar to you, I was playing in gold for the longest time, and most of my actually not all, but most of my like Chaos Legion deck is maxed for gold. So it's
Mhm.
just like let me play the best thing. Now that I'm in diamond, I just assume that the other person's gonna have a maxed out deck. So it's like it's still the same thing. Like, all right, well, I'm just gonna try and play the best hand that I can and go from there.
Yeah.
But oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Now I was gonna say, but speaking of strategies, one thing that I've really started to dig into is Splintercoach, and it's interesting to see how much or how good or how bad some of the cards that I thought were well played are just you get the raw stats. So before we even jump in, and I'll go ahead and share my screen here so folks can see what we're looking at. Um, and I'd love for you to just walk me through all the stuff that you have. But before we do that, one thing that just jumped out to me right away, which was really exciting as soon as I logged in, was just seeing the stats, the win rates for all of my summoners and all of my monsters. And as I was telling you beforehand, it's not surprising to see Dr. Blight at the top of at the top of the list because I obviously use him religiously. But it was also disappointing to see that he didn't have a better win rate because I'm just like maybe I shouldn't be using him in all these battles. And then Chaos Agent, I think it's a phenomenal card. Yet here he is with like a 41% win rate in the games that I'm using him. So it's one of those things where it just makes me think a little bit differently about the cards and how I may choose to use or not use them in the future. I don't know. I'm still kind of gathering data, but what I love about this is that this is something that the team I know had like wanted to do from the beginning where they would show each card's like individual stats and individual like wins and losses and kills and stuff like that. And I don't know where they're at with that. That's probably like way further down the line. So to be able to get this now through Splintercoach has actually been a lot of fun to see how my cards are performing. But I'll give the floor to you, and if you want to just kind of walk me through all the cool stuff that you have in here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you're enjoying it from that perspective because that was the goal when we built this. There are a lot of great resources, I think, like peak monsters to understand like the value of your
Hmm.
deck and the quantity of cards. Splinter cards is a great resource for that. Again, I really I really resonate with Darkest Night when he talks about how he just loves the game, right? He just
Yeah.
loves playing the game. And that's how I approach it. I probably even look at my deck value maybe twice a month. I don't really think about it
Hmm.
that much. And so I wanted to put I just organically wanted to know what my win rate was with cards and by rule sets and mana cap ranges. And so I figured let's put a tool out there that's just for people who love the gameplay, right? Who just want to get more insights around how this game is played. And so, yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, essentially, kind of what you have there, you have the two tabs, the summoners and monsters. I think the overall winning percentages are pretty insightful. As you are into it more, you'll kind of see with overall, and if you click on the lifetime to the right of overall above on the tabs, you'll be
Hmm.
able to sort by current month as well too. So yours are going to be the
Yeah.
same because you're still in your first
Yeah. I
month,
just started. Hmm.
but as you get down the road. And then what I also think for summoners, if you click on the overall tab, then you can also go by mana cap range and rule set, which I found really
Oh,
insightful. Yeah.
I
So
haven't.
before you
I
look
didn't
at it,
see
just
it.
take a guess and maybe go to monsters because there's more to choose from. What do you think your most played monster in the 12 to 19 mana cap range is?
Oof. In the 12 to 19, it's got to. I mean, it's got to be Dr. Blight, but I want to think of.
Okay, who's number two then? Yeah, it's probably Blight. If he's your most played overall, he's probably most played.
Let's do this because I know Dr. Blight and Chaos Agent are probably going to be 1 and 2. I have a feeling Pellicor Bandit's going to be number 3. So my number 4 guess is probably going to be Uraeus.
Okay.
But let's see, mana cap, and then you said 12 to 19.
Yeah.
Soul Fiend did not see that.
Wow.
Okay, Pellicor Bandit. Oh, I didn't really count for the. Oh, Pellicor Conjurer. Yeah, I use that all the time. Okay,
Yeah.
well, there's Uraeus at number 7, but
Yeah.
this is. Oh, that's actually really interesting. I forgot that I even used some of these cards, even though Pellicor Conjurer is one of my favorites in low mana games.
And one thing that's interesting too, if you look at this, I mean, you just by looking at this, your most played cards in low mana, you're winning with them. I mean, the first two, 500 slightly low, but other than that, you seem to be a pretty strong low mana player, because your most played cards. And that's one thing we do. Like, I feel like what we have here is a pretty holistic tool and people get a lot
Yeah,
of value on it, but we want to add stuff like so you can see your overall record in each mana cap range and that kind of stuff as well too.
man. Yeah, I totally missed this filter here. This is
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, you can also
Okay.
look by rule set, which again, like I'm really excited for more people to start to use this and
Yeah.
start to publish their insights because right now I'm really publishing my insights to the community. But
Hmm.
like, for example, the way that I play is going to be very different than the way that you play. Like I don't even have a Lux card, so I'm excited to see what sort of insights you garner around Lux. Um, and then, yeah, if you look at the monsters, you can sort by mana cap range, rule set. You can also sort by their position, like
Yeah.
tank, reach. You can also sort under each summoner as well, too. So, like, let's say, like for me, I have maxed out essentially legendary and rare summoners for Chaos Legion. And so I'm
Hmm.
finding out some cards play better under Precibulus while others play better under Kelia, and then
That is so cool. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then another interesting thing I'm finding too is a lot of the really strong offensive monsters. Like think of the monsters that are just pure offense, like Narissa in Water.
Mhm.
She plays really well under quicks. And what I'm finding, Dragon has such strong offensive cards. I think if you just sometimes you can just like pour on the offense, right? Like
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
put a strong dragon and don't worry about like these little like support monsters or complementary monsters and just doing an offensive assault on your opponent. And it seems to be pretty effective.
No, you're absolutely right. Well, what's interesting is like again, just going through my thought process here. Whenever I see like a high mana game, which is like 50 plus, like my first immediate thought is, will Dragon work? Is Dragon available and will Dragon work? Because it's all about like how much offense can I pile on with something like a Chaos Dragon, with there's just so many options there. Because then not only that, you can pair it with any of these other top splinters or any of these other splinters and go with their top offensive cards there and just really try to brute force your way to a win.
Hmm. Here's a question: what do you think is your most played tank?
Ooh, uh, I'm actually gonna go with Pelicor Conjure.
Okay, that's probably a good guess.
I
So
use
yeah,
that thing. I use that thing religiously.
position. Yeah.
So tank Bakjira, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, see what's okay. So Bakjira Pelicor Conjure is number 3. I didn't realize I use Chaos Agent so much as a tank, but here's a great insight. He's not that great as a tank. I should be
Same.
using I should be using someone else more often.
Yeah. Okay, and here's another fun one. We also track anchor. So the card that you play in the last position. So if you're
Mhm.
only playing 4 cards, then if
Oof.
the card of the four, what do you think is your most played anchor?
I mean, Blight for sure. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's probably gonna be it. I'm trying to think of what the number 2 would be. I would think that it's gonna be Pelacor Bandit because I love to play water in a lot of like low to mid game. So like anywhere from 12 to 30 mana.
Mhm. So anchor
So
strike below 6. Yeah.
where is
Funny,
it?
mine is
Oh,
Jin
6. Oh,
Vilta,
Anchor.
which is a similar play to Blight, right? With Hammer.
What sorry, what's the difference between Anchor and 6?
So 6 is in the sixth spot, so they will always be the anchor. But like for
Mhm.
example, let's say you only play 4 cards, then
Oh,
the
got it.
card you have
Okay.
at 4 will also track its stat for anchor.
Totally makes sense. All right, let's see. Dr. Blight, Wave Brood,
Wait,
Coral Lurker. What is what? Wow, I was so wrong.
yeah.
Where's my Pelicor Bandit isn't even in the mix? That's crazy.
Not even in the top 10?
You know what? I guess because yeah,
I think
that's
it just
crazy. It's not even anywhere. It's not even in like the top 20.
yeah. We need to build some sort features into this too.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's
So you
oh,
don't
there it is. Oh no, it is top 10.
okay, number
Never
9.
mind.
And you're I mean, it's smallish sample size, but it's doing well for you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what I just realized? I love throwing Pelicor Bandit at the end, but if I can throw Dr. Blight behind him, I'll throw Dr. Blight behind him. So
Yeah.
that's why Blight's at the top. But Wave Brood, so an interesting insight from this is the fact that like whenever I play water in like 40 to 50 mana games, I love throwing Wave Brood in the back. So this actually shows how much I play water.
Mm, interesting. Yeah. Well, and here's you just referenced something else that I think is cool about this too. You don't have to predict all 5, but we also, when you click on a card, it'll show you your most 5 played cards with that card. So do you have any predictions? Like what are your most played cards with Blight?
Oh. Um gosh. I mean, I'm probably gonna go with Chaos Agent just because that's near
Sure.
the
Yeah.
top. The Pelacor Conjurer and Mercenary. Oh, sorry, not Mercenary, Pelacor Bandit. I think could help to round up the top 5. I don't know. You know who might be an interesting mix here. Do you have the Soulbound reward cards in here
I
too?
do. Yeah.
Okay, so I've been trying to use a lot of that Venari Muskrat to
Yeah.
throw at the end between whatever the visible anchor is and then Blight in the camouflage last spot.
Yep.
So I want to see
So
if
click on Blight and then look at the bottom. It'll tee up your 5 most played with. And
interesting.
it'll
Okay.
show and that's the record with those 2 cards
Just
paired.
Okay, well I got a couple of them. I got Chaos Agent, Pelacor Conjurer, Bandit. I didn't realize that I play Bakjira with Blight that often. But you know what else I'd love to do in a lot of these low mana games? If it's because Kelia or Lux would be 4 or 5 mana. So sometimes sometimes if it's like a 14 or 15 mana game, I'll just throw Bakjira into the mix and then throw Blight behind him and let Blight go to work.
Yeah, I mean, and you're over 500 with it, so it seems to be working with you to a degree.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, this is awesome. I had not dug into all the different cards. I didn't even know you could click on the cards. So
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, and then and I'm trying to think another thing that's interesting too is yeah. Then obviously you can do sorts
you
here
can
just by
sort
card.
sorting as well.
So yeah, I like to do the mana cap range, and I just go one by one and start to get a sense for is this a card that I play better in? Like that's kind of surprising. Like it's
Yeah.
only a 4 mana card, and it does well in the 50 to 60 range for you.
Oh, it's
Which
interesting. I haven't put him in any 99 mana games lately. Huh,
yeah,
okay.
kind of.
I mean, this is cool already. There's so many fun insights in here. All right, so we can go back. So you can do that with monsters. You can do that with summoners.
Yeah, the summoner, the top five most played with summoners are really insightful because you really start to get a sense for what cards you're playing most with those.
Mm.
So
Well,
obviously,
it's kind
Blight, Chaos
yeah,
Agent.
kind of the
Yeah.
same here. I do want to see. Well, not now that we're on the topic. I do want to see Quicks because Quicks is my other maxed out summoner. So
I'll be honest too. When I started doing this, I didn't have a maxed out Astral or Immortalis or Lily, and I had to
mhm.
max them out right away because I wanted to
You
see
want to
all the data. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, now it's pushing me to because the only reason that Lux and Quicks are at the top is because they're my maxed out summoners. I just got Kelia up to level 8,
Saw
but
that.
I'll be working on the rare summoners first, so like Thaddeus and Obsidian. And so it's just like it sucks to me right now, similar to probably where you were at, where I'm just like, oh, these guys don't get used that that much, and I would love to get more data on how well they play. Now, does this pull in like brawl data as well or
It
tournaments?
does. Yeah, it pulls in
Okay,
brawl data. It pulls in PvP, ranked, and I'll have to check with the dev team. I believe it also, if the unranked battles are on chain, then those are pulled. Anything that's on chain is pulled in.
gotcha. Okay, cool, cool.
And then
One
another
question.
quick thing that's
Oh,
interesting, if you
mhm.
go, you can just go to the left and then see the blinking Splinterlands logo. And then if you click on each icon, you can see stats relative to just that splinter.
Just
So,
that
like for
spelling.
example,
Pretty
you're a
cool.
600 fire player, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you go to water, you can see like you're a 429 water
Oof.
player, but you play it
I
a
thought
lot more, right?
I
And you
thought it
kind of
was
see that
better.
on your every splinter. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, this is
I
fascinating. Wow.
it surprised me. Other than like Dragon, I'm Earth is my top performing splinter in terms of win rate, which I would not have guessed.
Yeah, well, see now I really have the itch to get everything maxed out, or at least my summoners maxed out, because like I just feel like these are such small sample sizes for a lot of these cards.
Mhm.
So that'll be the next step. But that's actually really cool. So oh yeah, Lux Vegas summoners.
Yep.
But interesting that you can do this also with like if I do this with a specific splinter. So let's just go with water, for example. I can actually see, okay, what are my usual like water meta strategies that I go for? And maybe I should be playing less Genoshanis because he's not, as high up. Maybe I should be playing more, I don't know, Murdampier, things like that would be interesting to dig into.
By the way, quick aside, Murdhampier it's a 611 card for you. It's a over 600 card for me as well too. I think that's one of the most underrated cards in the game.
Wait, hold on. We're Murdampier,
I
right?
think it's
Yeah.
number 11 for
Oh
you.
yeah, yeah, 11-7. No, I mean it's a phenomenal card. I definitely think similar to you, it's underrated in many ways. I love the cripple and the snare because it gives so much utility, and then obviously life leech. Who doesn't like that?
Yep.
I don't even want to get my demon shark only level 7, so I'm gonna have to max that one out too.
Yeah, for me, what a lot of people, and I was definitely one of these, when they first get this, they're surprised that they don't. Everyone who leans heavily into Chaos Legion cards thinks that their best performing splinter is water. And a lot
Hmm.
of people, when they start looking at their stats with like Kelia and Deep Lurker and Demon Shark, they're like, "What? I can't believe I'm not winning more of these."
So I have a question for you. If it's here and if it's not, then maybe a feature request. But it'd be cool to be able to sort or filter this by league as well. Because for example, like obviously my deck isn't fully maxed out. I play in diamond, so sometimes I'm underpowered. But the what's that called? the brawls that I do are in gold. And then, sometimes I'll hop into like a silver tournament here and there. So I'm wondering if that's something that you have on the roadmap or would be able to consider in the future.
Yeah, we can definitely do it. And yeah, we'll put it on the roadmap. We have a lot of features we want to put in, but we're going to bubble up, whatever people tell us they want. We're a pretty flexible team. So, yeah, we could definitely put that on the roadmap and then accelerate it if that's sort of like a thing that people are excited for.
Gotcha. All right. Well, no, just throwing it out there is something that because I know I'll play at different leagues, and then so even today, for example, I'll be doing a live stream later that's going to be in silver, and I'm gonna hop in and play a couple of games. So the thing is, not that it would make this data less insightful, but it'd be cool to like filter through and be like, how do the strategies and the insights change at different leagues?
Yep. No, yeah, we want to. There's a number of features we want to add to this. I think that would be great. We want this to ultimately be a really amazing resource for players,
Hmm.
right? And like other things we're talking about is could we give people ability to see like graphs of past data, so you can
Yeah.
see like how your lifetime record ebbed and flowed over months. Um, and then I don't know if we're going to be able to, like, we would love to do this. We're looking into it. I don't want to overpromise, but we would really love to maybe even air, like, maybe to subscribers, like people who become members,
Hmm.
maybe at the end of the year, airdrop NFTs to like whoever has the top record in like the noxious fumes rule set, and like
Yeah.
drop them and like you're the top noxious fumes player amongst the Splintercoach
Oh,
community.
that would be so cool.
Yeah.
I again, like, what's awesome about something like this, and especially if you can build, the community, get a lot of buy-in from folks. This is stuff that we want in game, and it's like I don't know if and when we're going to get that stuff in game, but it's cool that there's opportunities to have this with a community that you build out here, because now all of a sudden we get to come through and I get to compete against like Darkest Night or someone else and be like, oh, I do better at the noxious fumes rule set, or we might try to we might try to figure out how to beat each other, or make it to the top of whatever the leaderboard is for a specific rule set, or for a specific summoner.
Yep. And real quick, speaking of the leaderboard, I wanted to maybe do a quick call out for explain what the daily 5 and 9 is.
Mm,
I know some people
yeah,
ask
please.
about that. So I don't know. I kind of like these weird tangential things. And anyone who follows my channel, I do the daily 5 and 9. And it's just
Hmm.
simply, I try to win 5 matches before I lose 5. And so mathematically, you're not going to play more than 9 matches, right? By the time you get to 9, you've either won 5 or lost 5.
Yeah.
So I figured, why not give everyone who's a member of Splintercoach the ability to track their daily 5 and 9 records? So what we do is we reset the daily 5 and 9 for everyone at 12 midnight Eastern. So like for me, I wake up in the morning and I'm instantly starting a new daily 5 and 9, and it's going to track your record for that day until you either win 5 or lose 5. And then on the leaderboard, then for your current month, that's your overall record of all your daily 5 and 9s. And then on the leaderboard, that you see everybody who's a member, their monthly 5 and 9 records, and kind of who's doing the best and who isn't.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this person on the top, see Sotero 430, like 46 and 20.
Wow,
Um,
that's
yeah,
impressive.
and think about it, we're 10 days into June, so the most wins you could have is 50. So this person, is winning almost. They're getting 5 wins before they get 5 losses almost every single
Every
day.
day. Yeah.
And then what we're doing too, because we do want to give back to the community a bit. So for one perk of being a VIP member is we have a little pool going down there. And then at the end of each month, we're going to do a little payout of that pool to the top daily 5, like the monthly 5 and 9 VIP members.
Gotcha.
This month, I think the top 2 will get a payout. We're still
Hmm.
figuring out how to formalize that, but we want to just do
Sure.
something to give people, just to give back a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, well, hey, it's the thing is, you give people like just the ability to have an organized way to compete with one another, and they're going to do that. And then you throw a little sweetness on top, right?
Yeah.
And that just makes it better. So is this 4.2 Hive paid out
Hive.
daily
It's
then?
Hive. Yeah. One thing, and I'd be interested, I don't know if you mind me asking your community, but one, like right now, the only crypto you can pay with is Hive. I wonder if giving the ability to pay with DEC and SPS would be something that would be appealing to them, because
Sure.
we're
Yeah.
thinking about putting that in there as well too. And then one quick note is we do a cutoff of the 10th of every month, to
Hmm.
be eligible to be a VIP. You have to be a VIP member by the 10th of every month to be eligible for the end of month payout. That way people don't just like wait until the last day of the month and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm gonna win. So then they'll upgrade their membership. So
Yeah. Okay, so actually let's jump into that. Can you just go through quickly the membership options? And I don't know,
yeah,
should I log
yeah, you
out
can go
here so
right
you
there,
can
go
see
to
it?
account. And you
Oh,
just go
go
to
to account.
account. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
We're gonna
Essentially, there are three memberships. First of
here.
all, anyone who
Oh,
plays this, you can get yeah, the connection is really easy. We just use the login with Hive keychain. And essentially, everyone gets a free 7-day trial, right? You get one free 7-day trial so you can try it out, see if you like it.
mhm,
And then the memberships are really clear. Yeah. Essentially, for $5 a month, you can see just like all the wins and losses with all of your cards. You can also see all of that data on the left. So, what's your overall record, your monthly record, your daily record, and you can sort those by splinter. Full data gives you the ability to sort by mana cap range, rule set, position, all that kind of stuff as well. And then the
mhm.
VIP, right now we want to continue to layer more perks into VIP. We've been
Sure, yeah.
laser focused on just getting the product launched, but right now you get a payout of the daily 5 and 9 pool. Also, I'm going to be hosting tournaments, brawls on Splinterlands. I want
Oh,
to do
fun.
them every
Okay.
week or every 2 weeks. There'll be SPS payouts, and then VIP members will get a multiplier of the SPS payouts as
On
well too.
those, yeah.
So, like for example, if first place gets 100 SPS, we're thinking maybe like a 5x multiplier for VIP members. So then a VIP member would get 500 SPS, and that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then
Cool, cool.
we're gonna layer on more benefits as well too. It's just kind of something we're thinking through, and honestly, we want to hear from people on what they want.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then a quick note too, we're also just kind of doing little giveaways. We have a Discord that's on that join us button up there. And so, like, for example, I'm putting out a video early next week where I'm going to display my top 10 most played low mana monsters. And in the Discord, people can guess what my most played one is. And then the winner will get like 10 SPS, but that'll be 50 SPS if you're a VIP member, etc.
Gotcha. No, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, we're working with the VIP package now, so I appreciate that, and we're
Yeah.
gonna try and compete in these daily 5 and 9. What's funny is I saw that and I was just like, all right, well, my account is botted now, and I don't want to give I don't want to give the bot the chance to screw up my 5 and 9, so I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
take it off soon.
Yeah,
But
it's weird. This is definitely a tool for human players, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, yeah, because I kind of feel like the bot kind of figures a lot of this stuff out on its own. But I feel like the bot is so data driven. I feel like what we can do as humans is actually bring a level of like nuance to our looking at the data as well too, and figure out why something is or isn't working.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's I'm excited for whatever this modern format might look like in the future, because I really hope that and then maybe even in conjunction with something like Splintercoach will really incentivize people to come back and play the game, right? If there's like opportunities for them to play, for them to be competitive with one another, and to have that space where we can be going for these like different leaderboards that aren't dominated by specific accounts or bots that are have all the different cards that they need. I don't know. To me, that's exciting. So I think Splinter Coach is coming probably at a pretty good time here if we can get that implemented in the next couple of months.
Cool. Yeah. And yeah, if you ever have any questions or anything, just you can reach out to me anytime. I love the tool. I look at it every day. I play my
Mhm.
matches and I like to go back and kind of see how my records are adjusting and everything else. So.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, so I figure we can just to be respectful of your time, we can start to wrap up here. Do you have any like thoughts on or anything that you want to share with the community in terms of where you're heading in the future, what you'd like to do? And obviously, my ask for the community, as you've said, is just take this opportunity in the comment section on this video to let Jamie know what features you'd like to see, or better yet, jump into the Discord, which I'll put into the description as well, and become part of the Splinter Coach community.
Yeah, that's really it. Yeah, I'd love to hear any feedback you have in the comments. Jump in the Discord and you can ask any questions directly to me there. I usually respond pretty quickly. And then lastly, if you want to see continuous updates on the tool, you can follow my YouTube channel, Geeked Out Basketball.
Geeked Out Basketball. All right, I will link both of those in the chat. The Discord, Geeked Out Basketball. Is there anywhere else you want people to connect with you? Twitter,
No, I'd say that's it.
Hive? No. All right.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do. Well, Jamie, I really appreciate this, man. This is a lot of fun. And I am very excited about using this, and I know Darkest Night was poking around with it, so I'm gonna see if I can give him a call real quick right now. Just be like, dude, did you know you could click on the cards and see
Yeah.
the top five that they played with? Because I don't think he I
You
don't
got
think
to
he
tell
knows
him
that.
we essentially built this for him. Like he was the persona we had in mind.
Oh, you're gonna stroke his ego too much now. He's gonna
I just relate to him too much. I just,
yeah. But to your point, and we can close out with this. To your point, like this is a tool that is very clearly built for players, and it enhances the experience of the game for players. And so I for one, I for one think it's awesome, and I really hope that it can help a lot of the people who really enjoy the game for what it is. Right, a pretty solid strategy, auto battler card game can get them that much more involved in the meta strategy and not so worried about like the as Darkest Night says, tokenomics, blah blah blah, right? Like we want to really jump into how this game is very strategic, very fun, and the meta is constantly changing and evolving. So I appreciate what you're doing with Splintercoach, Jamie, and appreciate you taking the time to talk today.
great. Thanks for having me.
Take care.